Hey everybody, this is Jonathan Latt, and you are listening to another episode of the Perilous Podcast. And joining me as always in the Bunker of Doom, it's the co-host, it's Angie Carrier.
Hi.
Hey, what's going on?
No, I was trying to think of a tagline, and then I couldn't think of, the only one I could think of was, no, I'm not even going to say it.
No, say it.
It was like, ready to get my conspiracy on.
Oh, there you go. We're going to work on that.
Yeah.
All right.
Really, I'm a good
Team
marketer.
Tinfoil Hat is go.
I'm great at marketing.
we're gonna get you a catchphrase. Yeah. All right. So anyway, everybody, you're listening to the George Street Shuffle by Kevin MacLeod. Get all your royalty-free music at incompetech.com and more of that on the outro. And good to see you as always, Angie. We are recording this on a lovely Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's actually Saturday afternoon now.
Oh, Saturday afternoon. We started this morning.
Yeah.
And I just haven't had enough tea. So spacing out, which is appropriate. So this week we are discussing the possibility of existence of parallel worlds.
Yes.
Not to be confused with parallel dimensions, although I may accidentally use the phrase parallel dimensions when discussing a parallel world. And what we'll be talking about is the possibility of the existence of the multiverse, evidence, both scientific and anecdotal. So I will shut my pie hole, and as usual, I will have you go first.
Me go first.
Well, or would you rather I go first?
I think you should go first.
Okay. So let's talk about the concept of the parallel universe or parallel worlds, and that's a very in the broadest term, it's a very simple concept, which is that there are multiple universes that resemble ours, and we'll just use planet Earth for an example, but if there's a parallel Earth, there's a parallel universe. So some are very similar to us. You and I are sitting in a bunker recording a podcast on a parallel Earth, but we're talking about something else.
Yeah.
We have a grilled cheese podcast and not a conspiracy podcast.
Super and Debris.
Super and Debris. That's the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
There's your tagline.
There you go.
What's up, Ants? Super and Debris. And here we go. Or it's, I'm the female and you're the male, but it's the same exact podcast. It's just slight differences. Yeah. But then the more divergent the universe, the more different it becomes, where life didn't evolve on an Earth in a parallel universe. And, there's the...
But they're all taking place on this Earth or somewhere else?
No, in a different universe on a different Earth. Okay, so a parallel dimension would be that you and I are having this conversation, but life resonates at a certain frequency. You and I, although we have our own distinct frequency, and that's science. And it is. It's not bullshit. We are electrostatic beings, or whatever you want to call it, and we each have our own frequency. But everybody vibrates or exists in a window that is perceptible to us and to the animals around us and the Earth. And so perhaps occupying the same exact space that you and I are occupying are beings that exist on a much lower frequency or much higher frequency. And of course, lower and higher doesn't necessarily mean less evolved and more evolved, but just a different form of life that we cannot perceive because of the frequency difference. And I think I got into this in the Is Magic Real podcast, where my belief in that is, it's highly possible when people think they see an angel or a demon or contact or whatever, or even in a magic ritual where they're evoking or invoking a demon or an angel. It's a scientifically based. It's a creature in a parallel dimension to us that we can't perceive.
Yeah.
And so when it comes through, or you get to perceive it, it looks completely fucking alien. It looks weird. So a parallel universe would be, so here's I am I am using SD card holders.
Yeah.
So here's our universe. Here's the parallel universe. So it's not the same. It's just
two.
Yeah. And so, there are certain theories. One is that there is an infinite amount of universes, a never-ending supply, an infinite amount of universes, some more similar to others. And then there's the string theory, which I believe holds that there are 24 universes. And then there's variations on all those. And I apologize if it's not 24. But a certain, a defined number of coexisting universes in what would be the super universe, or the multiverse pocket. It's interesting. There's a region of space in the universe that appears devoid of anything going on. It's sort of this empty black region of space, and they have begun mapping the universe. And this was very recent. This was about 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe a little more. I have a hard time with time, as you are aware. But scientists believe, they have a theory that this All right, sorry everybody if you noticed a jump cut on the video. It's because the SD card was full, so I swapped them out. I believe we were talking about this black spot in the universe.
Yes, you're bad with time. All that, yeah.
Pardon?
You're bad with time.
Yeah, I'm bad with time.
Yeah.
So they discovered this area. It's a massive area. And basically what the scientists believe is it's actually evidence of another universe bumping up against our universe and left this scar, which is very, very interesting.
It's weird.
To me, which I find very, very cool. And so I actually believe that if there is a multiverse, and I certainly believe it. I believe it's, it makes sense scientifically. It's not an infinite number. Everything takes energy to create. I don't know. I think that there could be an infinite number, but these universes are coming into existence and dying off almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the Copenhagen interpretation?
No.
Okay. So the Copenhagen interpretation, which is one of my favorite sort of quantum theory sort of things.
Are there mermaids?
There are no mermaids, although on a parallel Earth, perhaps mermaids evolved.
There's just a mermaid statue in Copenhagen.
No, two different theories.
Oh, okay.
So Copenhagen interpretation has a thing called the Copenhagen collapse. So this is where I find it interesting in the sense of a possible parallel multiverse and how we can maintain 24, because the energy that's created when a new universe comes into existence is huge. And that energy, when the universe dies, has to go somewhere, and you can't just keep creating universes all the time. Insanity. So Copenhagen interpretation, Copenhagen collapse. You, Angie, you go to, what's your favorite restaurant?
Mess hall.
Okay, so you go to mess hall and you order your favorite dinner, and they bring you your dinner and they bring you the wrong order. And so let's say what's your favorite meal at mess hall?
There's a lot, but they have like a trout Benedict.
Okay, so they bring you your trout. So you always order the trout Benedict. Every day you order the trout Benedict. You love the trout Benedict, and you order the trout Benedict, but they bring you chicken, and you're at the crux of the Copenhagen interpretation, where now there are two universes. There is the one where you send the chicken back and you get your trout Benedict, or you go fuck it and you eat the chicken. Yeah. And those are two universes. And those two universes are coming out of the crux of another universe, which is they didn't get your order wrong. They did bring you the trout Benedict. So now you have all these divergent, every decision, every act brings about a different universe. But the problem is some of those universes are stronger than others. So now we have 2 Angies and 2 universes on 2 Earths. One where you had your Trout Benedict, one where you had the chicken. And one of those is weaker than the other. And so it starts to falter, it starts to waver, and it collapses, and that energy is dispersed back into it. Now, since you are, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, just one person, you and I am the same. We do not have the power to create these stable, full universes around us. So these universes come into existence and dissipate almost instantly, if not more. And that's the energy of the multiverse coming back and forth. But then you have these massive events that literally change the multiverse, like World War II. So you have 2 Earths, one where Hitler never, or you have multiple Earths. Hitler came to power, World War II. Hitler came to power, was not a Nazi racist scumbag. He actually was a very talented painter and became a painter. World War II didn't happen. World War II happens, but Hitler's an ally. And it's someone else. And so these things start to happen, but they all spawn off different universes because now it's the world making these, and it's very Earth-centric, to think that the Earth can make all these changes to the universe, but I'm just using it as an example. So you have these situations, but the more divergent they are, the weaker they are, and they start to collapse and they fold back in and feed the 24 universes in the multiverse. And that, in a nutshell, is how we have the multiverse.
Got it.
And why that comes into existence and all that stuff.
So do you think then that there's other Mars too, or is it's all about Earth?
No, it's the entire universe.
Okay.
It's the entire universe. It's not a little pocket universe. So perhaps excuse me. So there's a universe where there is still life on Mars. They do live underground. It is a civilization. We're in communication with them.
Yeah.
We're brothers and sisters. There's an Earth.
Very Star Wars. Yeah.
Right. No. When I say parallel Earths, it's just because we live on Earth.
Yeah. No.
So it's the entire universe, and that's why the scientists, when they see that big black spot in the mapping, they think it was another universe.
Wow.
Bumping up against, which is fucking amazing to think about.
It's also terrifying.
Why?
Well, it's too big. Space freaks me out. I can't. When I was a kid, I would try to lay. I had terrible insomnia when I was a kid, and I would lay in bed thinking about how big the universe was and just get freaked the fuck out.
That's so funny that you say that. I was the exact opposite. I would think about the vastness of the universe and it would put me to sleep.
Oh no, it scared the crap out of me.
That's funny.
I was like, why are we here? I don't get this. And I grew up in a religious household, and so I had that thought too. But it was also like, but why? Why is there everything else? Like, where did it come from? What's the point of it? Yeah, it got really existential when I was a child. I also did used to think of, I have a memory of sitting at a stoplight and thinking about how there would be a parallel universe to ours, like on a different planet, and stop meant go. And I would think about the words meaning
right.
things,
Yeah, that's a good thought
Yeah.
experiment, and it's absolutely possible. There's a great. It sort of became an overused trope in the Star Trek universe, but there was an episode.
There's a lot of overused tropes in the Star Trek.
True, but remember they did it first for the most part. So there's evil universes in Star Trek from the multiverse theory.
Like a doppelganger.
Yeah, so it's evil Kirk and evil Spock, and it's very fun. Spock's got a goatee. Kirk's banging more green girls than usual.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer does a really good
episode.
Really? I think it's called It's the Doppelganger episode where Willow is a vampire, Buffy.
Right. I remember that one. It's a different universe because a singular event did not take place, and that changed everything.
Of course. So do you think there's another universe where Trump isn't president?
Absolutely. But there's another universe where Trump is president, and a good one.
No.
There's another universe where Trump is president. We've already gone to war with North Korea. There's a universe where Hillary's president, a universe where Bernie is president. Yeah. There's a universe
where Andrew Basiago is president.
I doubt that. There is a universe where we are still a British colony. Not a colony per se. I mean, we are the established United States, but we are under sovereign rule. There's a universe where we we're still roaming tribes. There's a universe where life never evolved here at all. There's tons of different things. The evidence, and then we get into the cool sci-fi stuff where, again, if you go to the YouTubes, but also if you read conspiracy mags and websites and stuff like that, where we have visitors from other dimensions or possibly falling into other dimensions.
I read about, there's like a listicle article about all the examples that people say of like people visiting from parallel dimensions, but that might be more of, or might not be universes, more like dimension. I guess it depends on how you think about it.
Well, no, if it's people, it's a universe.
Yeah, the one that I thought was really interesting though is the guy who had the Japanese passport, and he had.
The man from Tower.
Yes, that's right.
He was in Japan.
That's right.
And he had the passport
from
of
Tower.
Here's the problem. It's a great story, and I love that story, but for the most part, there's no evidence.
I don't know.
Like the Japanese, not that the Japanese government would come forward with that per se, but there's literally no evidence. But there's also evidence that it comes from a collection of short stories.
Yeah, of course.
But it would be cool. My favorite one. Then there was one of the Tauman Shout incident.
Yeah, that. Did we talk about that we were going to maybe do an episode?
I think so, and we should, because
I think that's really interesting.
I think that has far less to do with a guy from a parallel world and far more to do with most likely espionage.
Yes, agreed.
So there was a magazine, and this story has stuck with me for a very long time. There was a magazine a long time ago called Nexus, which was a fringe science and paranormal magazine. And my favorites are the quote-unquote first-hand accounts, of people who have had experiences with parallel worlds, universes. So there's this great story in Nexus magazine, and it was just, and again, did it happen? I don't know. Is it possible? Anything is possible. Is it a great story? It is, for all the right reasons, because it's not a big thing. It's a thing that happened and then it stopped happening. So the story goes, and I can't remember the names, of course, because I read this 20 years ago, but it stuck with me because it was really, really cool. So there's this family, they were traveling through the Southwest, so Arizona, New Mexico area. And it's late at night, and they pull over at a roadside diner. And they go in and they have dinner, and something happens between going in and coming out. No, I apologize. No, they were driving down the road. They stop at this roadside diner, and they notice that the cars in front of the roadside diner are different. They're weird. They're like egg-shaped and look odd and whatever. And they go in, and everybody looks a little off, a little different. They're staring at them, and they get a little freaked out, so they go back out. They get into their car, and they see people staring at them, and people notice their car. And they pull out, and then these other people get into one of these weird egg-shaped cars and start chasing them down the road, and it's terrifying, and they go around a corner, and there's a shift in light or a change, and then they're just back on the highway. And so they just think they were, for whatever reason, shifted or fell into another universe. Did it happen? I doubt it. I don't know. Yeah. But it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. There's like a bunch of stories about like two kids showing up out of nowhere that have that are like they're dressed weird, and like it's not like a time travel thing. It's
the green skinned kids.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, and are they from another world, or were they living underground and incredibly malnourished?
Yeah.
But having said that, excuse me, I absolutely do believe, scientifically it just makes sense to me. This thing about an infinite universe, I think, is bullshit. Everything ends.
Yeah.
Some of it's arbitrary. This room ends.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything ends. There is an end to the universe, and if the universe was infinite, I don't know that you can have parallel universes. An infinite something has no border, has no end, so there's no need, unless you want to conflate and say, well, there are other universes within our universe, and and then you start playing around with logic games, which is fine. But no, I think the reason the universe seems infinite is a trick. And I say this again as someone who is not a scientist, but you know that old mirror trick where you have the infinity mirror because you're looking at it some way. I think, you know, the universe sort of bends back in on itself and reflects in on itself, and it looks sort of infinite. But I think even though scientists don't come right out and say it, they know the universe is finite. Yeah. They know it's finite. You know, I think they understand that. You know. It
makes me feel better if it's finite.
Yeah. Why?
Because infinite is too.
Too big.
Yeah.
No, but I think I think logically, how can it be infinite? That's insane.
Well, I mean, there's infinity in math, right?
Yeah, but that's an abstract concept.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's, you know, infinity in math is used. Isn't it almost always? Excuse me. Isn't it almost always used to express the unknown?
Yeah. That's fair.
So it doesn't necessarily mean infinite. It means an unknown quotient or integer, or some other mathematical term I'm not qualified to use.
The limit does not exist.
The
limit does not exist.
There you go. Like my capacity for pi. Completely infinite.
House of Pies.
Oh, fuck me. House of Pies. Okay. Digressing, because it's very important. House of Pies has an Earl Grey cream pie, which sounds wrong.
No.
But fuck me. It's awesome.
I don't really like dessert that much, but I like pies that are fruit-based usually.
Sure.
But I love Earl Grey macarons.
Ooh, I haven't had those.
Oh, if you go to like Bottega Louise, come on.
We're talking about LA stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. There's a place in LA called House of Pies Republic of Pies.
No, House of Pies is on, it's in Los Feliz.
Oh, sorry, I'm confusing with Republic of Pies, which is on Magnolia in North Hollywood.
Oh, well, you should go to House of Pies.
In the NoHo Arts District.
Yeah.
Republic of Pie has an Earl Grey cream pie, which is pretty fucking righteous. Yeah. They also have a breakfast quiche, which is pretty goddamn good because they made the fluffy egg thing and then just cram bacon in there and tomatoes and peppers, and it's
now I'm hungry.
Cheese. Yeah, now I'm hungry too. On a parallel world, we are not hungry.
No, we have already ate our pie.
In this universe, we are. But there are these great stories that I just love of people falling into or being visited by. Is that happening? I'm just going to say it. I think it's absolutely possible. I think depending on where you are, I think everything. I think the rules of the universe govern the thickness of the membrane to another universe. So if you're in a place of, like we talked about in the ghost episode, where I don't think they're ghosts, I think we're, gravity affects our ability to hear the past or whatever.
Or like electromagnetic.
Yeah, so maybe in certain areas where things are thin or different or whatever, and it maybe just doesn't take much for a nudge, absolutely.
Yeah.
You fall in, you get chased by weird people in egg-shaped cars.
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy. That would be cool.
Sounds like a Stephen King.
I know, but it was a great thing. It was only a couple of paragraphs, but it's brilliant in the sense that whoever wrote it, if it's not true, which it probably is not, but it would be awesome if it was. This guy sat down and said, "All right, how do I make this believable?"
Yeah.
And brilliantly crafted this thing that went like, "Yeah, that's what happened." Then it was over. And that's brilliant. It's brilliant, but it's obviously struck a chord deep with him because I've remembered it for 20 some odd years.
And if it's short, it's more believable because liars add more detail.
Yeah, that's true. Man, let's not get back into the press.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, all right, everybody, we're coming up on the half hour. Do you think parallel worlds exist? I think parallel universes exist. I think there's scientific proof of it. And I just think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
What about you?
I agree.
All right.
I mean, I've thought it since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
about it.
And I made you feel better about the whole.
Well, if it's finite, then sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still scary.
Well, no, it's a big thing.
I don't personally really want to travel to space. I will if I have to.
Oh, I really do. I just don't want to do it in a Coke can.
No.
You know, in a tube.
Yeah.
I want to do it in the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
That'd be.
Fair.
Yeah, man. Play.
Chewie, we're home.
Yeah, let the Wookiee win. Play some holographic chess. So Angie and I believe that the possibility of parallel universes is high. I believe in the multiverse. I believe the Copenhagen interpretation helps with that. But what do you think, YouTube? Go ahead and post your crazy stories of experiences with the parallel universe.
Yeah, I need more of my friends to have crazy stories like that because it's easier to believe your friends.
Yeah, I'm skeptical of everybody.
Yeah, well, that too, but
I'm just a bitter dick. But this has been the Perilous Podcast. As always, I've been your host, Jonathan Lapp. My co-host is, as always, is Angie Carrier. All right, go to jonathanlapp.com. Check out my book. I got some new stuff coming out. Follow me on Twitter. Don't cost nothing. Go to Angie's website. She's angiecarrier.com. I am being a spaz. I apologize to everyone watching this. And go to incompetech.com for all your royalty-free music. Again, this is the George Street Shuffle by Kevin MacLeod. He's a very, very talented young man. Follow Angie on Twitter. She's way nicer than me.
I don't know that that's true.
Yeah, actually, that's not true. I was just trying to help.
Yeah.
We're both kind of dicks. Which is fair.
True.
But only against intolerant animals.
Twitter's where I bitch a lot.
Yeah.
Facebook I curate.
I'm actually really disappointed in myself. I've really been trying to get blocked by the president.
You can do it.
I'm going to keep trying. I don't know what to do. But my problem is I feel the need to call him Mr. President because I think it makes my arguments better. But I don't know what a guy's got to do to get blocked by the president. I would be so proud if I got blocked by the president. I'm just going to keep pointing out he's got.
You could probably easily get blocked by Ivanka.
That's not the same thing.
I know, but
no, I want.
Marley Matlin tweeted about the president, and they all blocked her.
Sweet.
Like immediately.
I don't think I'm important enough. Actually, I know I'm not important enough, but I'm going to keep talking about his small hands.
Yeah, do it.
But you know, I don't know. It's a goal. It's a life goal. But look, if you voted for Trump, that's your right. You're wrong, but that's your right. Unless you're a neo-Nazi voted for Trump, in which case, go fuck yourself.
We told you this was coming.
Yeah.
That he's a bad person. But
I have told.
Give him a chance.
I told everybody because we're 6 months in, and I told everybody when he was elected.
No, we're 8 months in.
8 months in.
That's how I know. Kill me.
But I told everybody when he got elected who voted for him. I said, look, if he turns out to be a great president, I'll be the first to apologize. But remember, a year from now, you wanted this.
Yeah. I mean, Hillary tried to warn us multiple times.
No,
it's like,
everybody.
This is who he is.
Yeah, no, I know. People are stupid. Anyway. So thanks for coming by.
Yay! We're in a parallel universe where Trump isn't president.
Yay! And I have a Republican pie slice of Earl Grey pie.
Yay!
Yay! All right, everybody. Listen, thanks for coming by. We will talk to you all next week. Thanks, Anne.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.